Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, the Budget Enthusiast. And look, today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about some Leatherface, dog. And his new movie on Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, but before we get started on this, okay, there are a couple of things that I need to tell y'all. First thing, I love me some Leatherface. I love me some Leatherface. I have a Leatherface costume. I have a Leatherface replica chainsaw. I have posters. I have all types of stuff alluding to my boy Leatherface. That's my dude. He's my number 3 on my slasher movie horror icons. It's Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and Leatherface. It's my peoples. It's my peoples right there. I don't know if you can see, but you probably can see his feet up there. That's my boy Chucky up there. But anyway, that's my dude. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 1974 version, was the very first movie that actually scared my mother. Now, for those who don't know my mom is the reason why I am the way I am. My mother is the reason why I have Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger curtains in my house. I have a Chucky doll up here. I got all types of horror movie stuff. I got a Scream mask down here. I got costumes. I got all this stuff. My mom is the reason why. Like this whole like 3 sections right here is nothing but horror movies, y'all. Nothing but horror movies. It's in my blood. My mom is the reason why I am the way I am. And she saw that movie in 1974 when it opened. Her and my Aunt Mary went to see that bad boy on opening weekend. And she said it scared the hell out of her. And because how it was filmed, it was gritty. It looked real just because the budget was so low. And it was grainy. And the advertisements and all of the stuff were telling people out there that it was based on a true story, which is stretching that truth. Like when I tell you it's stretching that truth, it's like stretching that truth. But it's okay. Marketing, people say whatever they want in marketing. But when I was growing up, my mom told me that that was the movie that scared her. So there were 2 movies out there that I could not watch growing up. My mom let me watch everything else. I saw all the Freddy movies that came out. I saw all the Friday the 13th movies that came out. I saw all the Child's Play movies. And I even had a My Buddy doll that looks just like a Chucky. And my mom was like, I mean, if you can handle it, we'll watch it together. We used to stay up watching on Friday nights. My mom would let me stay up and watch Tales from the Crypt when it came out. Like, dude, my household was horror movies. And we love slasher movies in particular. Like, we like scary, like, ghost stories and stuff, but slasher movies were our jam, and they still are. So, since this movie was the one that my mom didn't let me watch, that and The Exorcist, that was the second one. The Exorcist, she was like, I don't know if you're ready for that yet, but you can watch all the other ones, and you can't watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it scared me, so I don't know what's going to do to you. So as time went on, I started, getting older and started watching more random, crazy horror movies. So one day she said, hey, let's sit down together and let's watch it. So she watched it, and since we were both desensitized to all of these killings, Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't affect her like it did before. And that's cool. That's what happens. But it hit me, and I was like, yo, this movie, I need to know more about this movie because it's just the way it looks and feels. Now I know it's not for everyone. I know that it's not for everyone. Trust me. That movie is not, because it's hardly, I don't think there's any gore in it at all. A lot of the stuff is implied. So there is no, like, he doesn't cut you up with the chainsaw, and if he does, it's off camera, and all you hear is the scream and the chainsaw. He doesn't really do anything over the top violent in it. It's not like blood and guts everywhere. So it's crazy. And fun fact, Toby Hooper, who is the director of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was trying to go for a PG rating on that bad boy. They were like, I know it's no blood in here, but that dude is way too scary, so we're gonna have to give it an R rating. They almost gave it a X rating at that time for violence, but it had no blood in it. Everything was implied, so it was all in your head if you think that is a crazy violent movie. It's not. So once we saw it, it sparked my interest in trying to know Leatherface as a character. So getting to know Leatherface as a character, I realized that he's not very complex as far as slasher, villains go, but it's kind of sad though, because he's a dude that has an entirely crazy family. He has a mental disorder, and they're all cannibals. So he's the biggest and he's the strongest, but he also is the dumbest. If you feel me on that. So I always felt like his family held him back from the first one all the way up to like Next Generation and all, right before this is the original group, not the remake that they did with Jessica Biel. The family just held him back. He could be so much more. Like, he's a big dude. He's strong. He's a freaking butcher. He has a chainsaw. He is an awesome antagonist for murder and mayhem, but he was always held back by his family. His family would just say, Leatherface, go do this, and then he would squeal and whatnot, make grunts, and go do what they say. And then he would get scolded if they didn't like what he did. I hated that. So, saying all of that so you can understand the history of me and my man Leatherface. Matter of fact, my gamer tags for Xbox and PlayStation are Leatherface. They have Leatherface implications in it. So that's my dude. So fast forwarding through the original all the way through all the sequels, all the way through all the remakes, and the Texas Chainsaw, the beginning, and the movie Leatherface, a lot of those movies were trash. They're not great movies. But Leatherface is a character. I go into it to see Leatherface. That's what I go in there for. I don't care about anybody else. I care about the people he's going to smoke, though. Like, I care about them. Like, I want them to be terrible people so that he can have a good reason to carve them up. But what made the first one so crazy and scary to most in that time period was because none of the characters did anything wrong besides being nosy. They were pretty nosy, I will say that. But they didn't do anything wrong. So that just shows you don't have to do anything, and Leatherface and his family are going to carve you up. So fast forwarding into this one, it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And here's the other thing that I was talking about at the very beginning of the video. I absolutely hate when they do a requel. So it's a reboot / sequel. And they name the same movie after the one it's making the sequel of. It is the worst thing ever. Halloween did that BS with Halloween 2018. You shouldn't have to put a freaking date on the end of your movie to distinguish it from the first one. You should make it like the name and a subtitle. That's it. Like Halloween and New Blood or some BS like that. Anything other than just renaming it what has already been named. So this one is named the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I was sitting at work one day and I got somebody sent me the actual trailer for it, and I was like, oh God, no, they about to F me over with this, man. Not my boy Leatherface. So I said, I got to give it a chance because anything with Leatherface in it, I'm down. Mortal Kombat X, My goodness, when the DLC came out and they put Leatherface in that bad boy, you better believe I was playing that joint. Oh my god, it was so amazing. Thank you, NetherRealm Studios, by the way. Anyway, so this particular movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it is a requel to the 1974 original. And they saw the success. I feel like the filmmakers just saw the success of Halloween and now recently Scream. And they were like, bro, we can get on some of that. So they try to bring back an old character, the girl Sally, who escaped in the very first one. They bring her back in this one to try to be like a, I don't know. They put her in there to bring this 1974 version here to make it a real requel. And I feel like she was useless in this thing. So I'm not gonna really give any spoilers. I try not to do spoiler things, but she was so useless in this, man. At least my girl Laurie Strode from the Halloween reboot like got down and dirty. Like she was busting Michael up. You know what I'm saying? Not so much in Halloween Kills. Laurie Strode got shafted in that one. And now that I watched that movie again, it's not as good as I initially thought it was. Sure, Mike is a beast in that one. That movie is kind of, the first one, the 2018 one, is much better. But they try to bring Sally back as a Laurie Strode type character. Even they because they did this in Terminator Dark Fate, like they brought back characters from that. They brought back Laurie Strode. They brought back Nev Campbell and everybody for Scream. Another one again. It's named Scream, but it's a sequel. They already had 4 ones before it, and they each had a number by it. Just call it Scream 5, bro. But anyway, so back to my man Leatherface. So the basic plot, a group of hipster influencers go to a town in Texas that is abandoned, right? It's abandoned. It looks like a town in Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, and Red Dead Redemption 2. It looks like one of those janks. So they go down there. They're going to buy this town so they can spruce it up and make it a hipster location. So they have restaurants and all this stuff that hipsters like. Now you're in the middle of Texas, bro. Like you're in like redneck Texas, but this is where you want to build your new utopia. So they go there to try to buy the land. It come to find out there is a woman there that she lives there with you know with her stuff, and she runs an orphanage. That used to be an orphanage. So they think that she should be kicked out because apparently they bought the land, but she still has her deed. So from that point on, things happen, and it come to find out Leatherface lives there with that lady. She takes care of him. She took him in after the events of the 1974 one. Now, we don't know how she knew this dude. We don't know why she knew this dude or why she took him in. Like, the dude is weird. It's Leatherface, bro. It's Leatherface. Why would you Anyway, she took him in. That's a story for another day. Maybe they'll if it's successful, they'll make a sequel and we'll find out. Find out why she took him in. But things happen. It causes Leatherface to go on a rampage. And when I tell you bro, it is a rampage. This dude, this is the best, most hardcore Leatherface that I have personally seen. The only one that probably was as intimidating as this one is the Jessica Biel remake Leatherface. That dude was huge, and his like he just looked dope, and he was strong, like super strong. This one, I think they got him. Like, this is the Leatherface that I've been asking for, because look at this. You got Michael Myers, you have Jason Voorhees, you have Freddy Krueger, you even have my dude Chucky. He's a freaking doll, and he is like smoking cats like he's a full grown dude. I love it. If you're in a slasher movie and you're a slasher movie antagonist, this is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to be overpowering, you're supposed to be intimidating, because if you're not, what is the point? What is the point? Like, I enjoy Scream because while those dudes are regular people, when they put it's like when they put on that mask and that costume, they do some superhuman crap, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that way. Slasher movies, your antagonist is supposed to be over the top. They're not supposed to be just like you. And if they fall down the stairs, they're gonna sit there and cry for 20 minutes. No, they're supposed to fall down the stairs. You look down and they're gone. That's what it's supposed to be. This Leatherface is exactly what I needed him to be. He's strong. He is actually fairly smart. Like the stuff that he was doing in here, I'm like, oh, okay, Leatherface, I like it. He will overpower you. He he actually uses his chainsaw. He uses the chainsaw. So I know I'm jumping around. My stuff isn't scripted, so bear with me. But there are things that people are nitpicking in this movie. People are saying, "Hey, like we didn't get to learn more about anything. Like, why is Leatherface doing this? Why is Leatherface doing that?" Dude, bro. I don't know. Look, I'm gonna get close to the camera on this. I don't know if you understand. It's a slasher movie, bro. It's a slasher movie. There are no slasher movies that need deep plots. You don't need a lot of motivation to show people getting slaughtered on the camera. Come on, man. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me, America, or whoever's watching this. Bear with me. It's a slasher movie. Slasher movies are not supposed to be deep. They're supposed to cut deep, but they're not supposed to be deep as far as lore and story. Scream isn't deep as far as lore and story. It had 4 movies and now 5, and we still don't know why half this crap is happening. But hey, I'm gonna back up. So, Leatherface is a beast in this movie. An absolute monster. Absolute monster. I'm sitting here watching it at the crib with my boy Wildebeest. Shout out to Wildebeest. That's my homie. So we sitting here watching this joint, and I know going into this that we were both skeptical about what they're gonna do with this. And when we saw what they had Leatherface doing, we got hype. Like, this is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. No frills. You set up his motivation. We all know his motivation. I'm not going to reveal it, but we know his motivation in this one. We know that these jerk kids that come over here, these influencers that come over here and they try to take over this area and do all this stuff, and they disturb something they shouldn't have disturbed, they all deserve to die. And they're unlikable. The thing is, they're unlikable. They flip the script and they almost make you root for Leatherface. I always root for Leatherface. I don't give a damn who he's killing. He's my dude. So I'm on his side all the way. But these people are so unlikable. Like, I was fine with Sally escaping. Sally didn't do anything wrong. Sally and her friends, I felt kind of bad because Sally went crazy after that joint. And then you see her in this one, she's loony, but I mean, she got to do what she got to do. She went through a traumatic experience. So it's what Leatherface needs to be. This movie here and the way he acted can put him up against a Michael Myers or a Jason Voorhees, because those are, as far as like brutal killers. Oh, another one that I would love to see. I know they don't do crossovers with stuff like this, but another one of my favorite slasher dudes is my man Victor Crawley from the Hatchet series. And like, those two, could you, man, I don't know if who's watching this, if you've seen any of the Hatchet movies, but that series, I love it because it is brutal, and Victor Crawley is a monster. Like, this dude is ripping people in half, grabbing people by the mouth and just tearing them open. This is like, slasher villains are supposed to be like this, and this Leatherface could like work alongside Victor Crawley. They can live out in the country on the bayou somewhere in a big house, and they just slaughter people. I'm cool with that. I don't need a backstory. I don't need a plot. I don't need that. I just need people getting murdered. It's a slasher movie. It's not a crime drama. It is a slasher movie. Keyword slash. What do people do in slasher movies? They get smoked. That's what the purpose of this movie is. So everybody out there that is like, why isn't there a deep story, or I need more character development? No, no, you don't need character development. You don't need character development. Why do you go to McDonald's and say, you know what, I wish they carried steaks? No, you go to a steak joint if you want a steak. You go to McDonald's. You go to McDonald's to eat crappy food and possibly have diarrhea afterwards. That's what you go to McDonald's for. You go to a steakhouse for steak. So for me, I go to a slasher movie. I want to see people get smoked. I want to see a cool antagonist, and I want to see them do cool things, and then I want to see people get slaughtered. Sure, you can have a character that you like that you don't want to die. I'm fine with that. I am perfectly fine with that. But you're not gonna take this away from my boy Leatherface. Leatherface deserved this movie, and he deserved to be this dope. This Leatherface is dope. Even like he's old now. Like people were complaining that, oh, if he was in 1974 and now he's in present time, how come he didn't age and look old? He did age. He actually did age. We don't get to see his face because he's wearing a different face. He's Leatherface, bro. He wears other people's faces, so you can't tell. But one thing we have learned from all these other movies is evil doesn't age. Because look at your boy Michael Myers. He's supposed to be like 65, 70 by the time this movie rolls around. But he is still like lifting people up and stabbing people and getting shot. He's doing all these things because evil has no age limit. Evil does not age like we do. And Leatherface, he is mentally challenged, but because of his family, he is straight up evil. So this movie, he shows his evil side. He actually was pretty chill until the events happened. He was pretty chill. He was probably living his life, man. Probably doing his thing. Upstairs in his room, doing his thing. Probably doing some social media. I don't know what he was doing. But what I do know is that when they unleashed him, he went off. There is a scene on the bus. Now you can see part of this in the trailer. That scene on the bus is amazing. And I'm glad they didn't cut it up, like edit it so that it's like it starts and you see him smoke a few people and then he leaves. No, they kept that bad boy going. You get to see just about everybody getting cut up. Like it was awesome. And the way that he was carving people up was by far some of the best stuff I've seen in a while. Like we were cheering in here, watching it. We were watching it right here in my crib. We were actually cheering when he was slicing people up. It's rare that you get slasher movies like that. It's rare. And I've seen hundreds of really good slasher movies and really trash slasher movies. So the kills were amazing. You go to a slasher movie for kills. You don't go for anything else. That's what you go for. That's what you go for. You watch Saw movies to see people in traps. You watch Final Destination to see death come for a bunch of people. And they die in creative ways. These are like, this is what you go. You go to a Quentin Tarantino movie to hear a bunch of dialogue, a lot of cursing, some racism, and some feet. That's what you go there for, because that's what he shows. Those are all the things that he shows. So, yes, this was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. And you can say what you want. You can create your own YouTube channel just to talk about how bad this movie was. I'm talking about it, so I'm going to say I absolutely loved it. It is what I wanted it to be. He is a beast, and he deserves to be a beast. He's been crapped on by his family in all these other movies. Even in the remakes, he was crapped on by his family. He is free. He does what he wants to do now. Whatever he feels is right, he does it. And I love it. And all those little hipster kids They were all jerks. Like they all were jerks. There was not one in there that I wanted to see make it out. They all deserve to die. Even the people on the bus, they all deserve to die because there's. I was like, man, don't slaughter all these people on the bus. But as soon as he got on the bus, there's a scene, and once you see it, you can be like, bro, get him, get him. So, again, Leatherface does what he wants to do in this movie. I love it. Oh, one last thing before I wrap this up. Let me tell you what, my man threw a chainsaw multiple times. So my boy Will DeBeast was sitting here. He was like, "Yo, all I need him to do is throw a chainsaw. Just like throw a chainsaw at somebody." And he did it. And he did it twice, and it was dope. It was so dope. So dope. So, yes, Leatherface, you back with me, dude. Like, thank you. Thank you for being a beast. Thank you. Like, now, when people mention, like, Leatherface ain't nothing, Leatherface ain't do nothing, I was like, okay, go ahead and watch this movie, and then you can come back to me and tell me Leatherface ain't a beast. So, Leatherface's kill count is super low in comparison to like Jason. I think Jason Voorhees might be the one that has the most. I think, you know, because there are people that do kill counts in movies. There's a pretty dope YouTube channel that does. He has a show called Kill Count, and he goes through all the kills through all the movies. And I think Jason Voorhees might be the dude that has the most. And Leatherface is way down there because, like I said, you barely see him kill anybody in the first one, and all the subsequent sequels, he doesn't really kill a lot of people like Jason does. This time, like that bus scene alone bumps him up a little bit, man, because good God Almighty, man, it was so dope. So, my recommendation is that you, if you're a slasher movie fan, and you're the type that doesn't need a complex story and all this other BS. Why do you need that in a slasher movie? I will never know. But, and why do you need logic in a slasher movie? It's a slasher movie. Anyway, when you go into this movie, just know you won't have any of that stuff. You're not watching Martin Scorsese making the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because if you did, it'll be 17 hours long, and it would be a lot of talking, and Leatherface may kill one or two people, but that's about it. We came here to see Leatherface smoke some folks, and that's what he does. So, go into this movie knowing it's a slasher film, that you're not going to have a deep plot, and you're going to have unlikable characters that you want to see die. That's what you get, and it's awesome. So, look, for me, budget enthusiast, 2 thumbs up. Like, if I had more hands, I get more thumbs up. It is awesome. And one thing too, last thing, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I think you need to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She was like, they have a new one? I said, yep, it's on Netflix. Just log in throughout the week. She's retired, so she can watch it anytime she wants. I was like, Mom, just check it out. Just check it out. I said, they did Leatherface right, and he's a beast. She said, thank goodness, I have to watch it. I will be watching it soon. See? My mama understands. And she was afraid of that dude at first. And now she's like, you know what? Nah, he needs a little redemption, because they treated him dirty and all the rest of them. So, like I said, 2 thumbs up. Absolutely loved it. I recommend it if you like slasher movies, and if you like gore and people getting slaughtered. If you like those things, check it out. Absolutely check it out. So that's it for me. I know I rambled on a lot, but I'm really passionate about my boy Leatherface. I'm really passionate about slasher movies in general. So if you like me going on these types of rants, then stay tuned. If you do like this video, and I will definitely upload some more, because like I said, I got tons of horror movies back here, and I'm a member of Shudder. Like, I subscribe to Shudder, so I have access to all types of horror movies. I love them. So if you have a horror movie that you would suggest that I watch and maybe do a review, let me know. Throw it down in the comments, and I'll take a look at it, and we can get rolling on that. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, 2 thumbs up. Leatherface is an absolute monster. So y'all take it easy out there. Peace.